Hello, my Crystal West, Texas, Facebook and YouTube family. Guys, listen, you can see a little bit familiar and one unfamiliar face here, but they're not going to be unfamiliar for long. Let me introduce to you first my guest co-host, Miss Donna Glover, who was recently Donna Glover for Harris County District Clerk. She was recently, yes, that's one of her pseudonyms. But Donna, introduce yourself and kind of let us know what you've been up to a little bit.
All right. Well, hi everyone. Again, it's me, Donna G, and the place to be. All right, remember that. But we'll still use it. Yep, in the house, native Houstonian. Let's see what else. I am a proud graduate of Prairie View A&M University, computer science major. So I'm an engineer by trade. I'm also a teacher and education professional by trade. I do project management and program development. So
She's a Jill of all trades. She's a Jill.
yeah, so you guys got some open contracts out there. I'm waiting to get them. Let's bring them on.
Yeah.
Show me the money, right? Where the money resides.
Thank you, Miss Donna. And guys, listen, we had to have this particular segment on today because it resonates with so many people. And I had to bring in, let me tell you why I brought in the financial professional that I did. He doesn't look like your grandfather's financial professional. Okay? And the thing about it is, it's important because people who look like her son, who look like my niece and me and Donna, we want to get some real time advice on how we can become financially independent, and it's still people's dream, and it can be a reality. So I want my next guest, Randy. Randy is going to introduce himself, and you guys saw the teaser I put up. I'm drowning in debt. Well, I know that resonates with a lot of people, and I gave Randy a marching order when he came in here today. So he's been going over it in his mind, but we're going to talk about it. Yeah. And he started talking about some things about 10 seconds ago. I said, stop. Let's go on first because what you're talking about, people need to hear. Introduce yourself to me, please, Randy.
Thank you so much.
And tell me exactly what you do and how you became so successful in this field.
Man, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Truly, I'm grateful. I'm great. I'm just so grateful to be here. I want to first and foremost before I even introduce myself, I want to give you your flowers because
thank you,
I
Randy.
have not only known you for years. I've seen the work that you've put in. I've seen how you continue to pour within your community, and it is something that is important. And
Thank you.
you know God's way.
Thank you, Randy. I appreciate that.
So to introduce myself, my name is Randy Mbuge, international keynote speaker, Houston real estate advisor, and author of 4 books now. I've served in the military, and I like to really call myself a financial enthusiast. I really do care about financial literacy, and I feel like the more that our community learns about money, it allows us to make better decisions.
You skipped over something, and I don't want you to skip over that because that's important to us. Randy, tell us about your time in the military.
Okay, so I joined the military when I was
behind the desk.
I was not.
That's what I want you to tell us.
Not. I was everywhere but the desk. So, and this will actually play into how you're able to make yourself more valuable so that you can make more money. So I enlisted into the military when I was 17 years old, and I fulfilled my 6-year contract. I got out in 2023. My initial job description is culinary specialist.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, though, when you get into the military, they see you as a number to some degree, and you are a soldier. And when you are a soldier, you have a job to do. And when you have a job to do, you are responsible for that job.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a culinary specialist. you say by trade, yet if they see that you are fit, they see that you are able to say do certain tasks that maybe not your peers are able to do,
Right.
they will say task you out. And when you receive additional tasks, you have to do it
Okay.
because it's now your responsibility. So I served for 6 years and I had one tour to Kuwait. We're in overseas,
Wow.
9 months, boots on the ground.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's scary, Randy.
It is. I'm
Thanks,
not gonna
thanks,
sit here and
thanks,
tell you
thanks,
it's not. I'm not
You
gonna
made
say-
it back.
I'm not gonna tell you it wasn't. It was. It
Yeah.
was. And I'm grateful that I was able to make it
Yeah.
back safely.
Because I know a lot of our young men and women did not.
Yeah.
So that's, thank God for that happening. And then you got back here and then you said, you're gonna, I mean, were you in a dilemma, or did you know from the time that you were 10 years old what you wanted to do?
I was in a dilemma. I was in a dilemma because I came back from serving overseas, and while I had some money in savings, right? I had some money in cash reserves. The issue was I didn't really have a solid plan, and I lacked clarity.
Yeah.
So even though I had a little bit of money, I lacked clarity to make my plan come to fruition because
Right.
I was maybe I want to get into insurance. Maybe I'll work on my speaking business. Maybe I'll
Right.
work on being a real estate professional,
Yeah.
doing it truly. By then, I mean, in the span of 1 year, how are you able to pursue 3 different opportunities?
You're still a young person.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So you think that right, and as a young person, especially, people are like, "Oh, you can hustle, hustle, hustle." That's a part. That's a part of the That's a part of the
Hustling is hard.
misconception. That's a part of the misconception.
Yeah.
So to say, when I came back, I was lost in a sense. Like I was crushing it by all means while I was in the service. So you
Right.
could see that I'm a top performer. Yet on the civilian side, when I hung up the uniform, I was like, what am I going to do now?
Right.
And this is July of 2023. So I want people to understand that even though I'm sitting here and we're talking about money, understand that
That's not the.
that's not how
that long ago.
that's not how it always
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Right. So I want to shed, and the reason why I want to talk about this is because a lot of times we see where someone is currently at, but we need to understand what they did to get to where they're at. That's a part of the clarity sometimes I feel like we're missing when we see that, oh, this person's net worth is X, Y, and Z. Yet
Right.
don't look at their net worth today. Look at what they did to get to where they're at.
Got you.
Yeah. So when I came back, I lacked clarity. And my uncle was like, look, he said, I love you, I care about you. Yet when you run out of money, because if
It
you
will
it out, yeah, it
That's
will happen.
right,
When you
yeah.
run out of money, I'm gonna just slide you this job application to be a Chick-fil-A manager.
Okay.
And at first, some people be like, that's offensive, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Then when I ran out of money, I said,
Looking back, that's looking back.
Uncle, I didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
And it was, but that's due to clarity. That's due to what am I actually doing to make money consistently that was actually going to feed me if I said, oh, I'm not going to work a job. Well, you have to, this money cannot just come out of, magically come out of nowhere.
So was your uncle a Chick-fil-A franchisee?
No, my uncle is a great man working in corporate. He just,
Gotcha.
but he knew though, because as he's working in business,
The
he
ladder,
understood
yeah.
that's like, okay, if you're not having a W-2 that's paying you consistently,
Right.
and you don't have a business that's paying you X amount of dollars every single month,
Right.
where is this money coming from?
Right.
And I just didn't at the time. I was like, well, I just came back from military orders. I was making some money,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
was like that money, of course, at some point was going to dry out because
Exactly.
expenses.
Right.
So it's also like understanding like what is your plan? What is your plan? What clarity do you have to then build the life that you want?
Now, Randy, the thing about it is, for people who look like you, who are young people, young family,
Mm-hmm.
how important is it that they have? I have a niece
Mhm.
who just started out. She got married a year ago. And
Congratulations.
she graduated from college a couple of years ago. She got married a year ago, and she's living in a small town. And how important is it at 25 years old that you and your spouse, or you individually, or you and your significant other have a concrete plan, or is there still some time to explore different things? Because Donna has a son who's a young adult. And we want to make sure that our children and our nieces and nephews have an opportunity to explore the things that they really want to do.
Mhm.
But is there a certain time when we need to say, okay, I'm not giving up my dream, but I need to make sure that I can make it from day to day. So how do I restructure my dream? You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Because we don't want to squash anybody's dreams.
No. I think it's so to answer the first part about is it too late? I don't ever think it is too late to start talking about finances and understanding your financial threshold. I don't ever think it's too late. I think though for young adults especially
Yeah,
when you're dating or you're courting someone or you're engaged, you're about to get married,
right.
it's very important to talk about finances early. And like we just need to how much debt do you have? What's your
Yeah.
credit score?
Yeah.
How much money are you making? How much money are you spending every
And those
single
aren't
month?
the exciting
It's not.
conversations.
It's not. I remember
Yeah.
when I was first talking to my spouse,
Yeah.
she let me know early. She said, we need a P&L.
Yeah.
And don't worry
Yeah.
about it. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. I'll build it. And we are going to make sure that we
Yeah.
know our numbers.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that was the conversation. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, well, I don't want to talk about money. It's uncomfortable. It's like, no.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about money.
Yeah.
And it's going to be uncomfortable and it's not pleasant. Yet if you don't, what's not going to be pleasant is having that conversation
Go back in.
when you
Yeah.
have to have the
That's right.
conversation.
Yeah.
So it's important to have a very solid foundation, even if your numbers are not what you want them
And
to
for
be.
people who are not sure what that is, tell me what that means.
A solid foundation,
A P&L.
a P&L. So it's a profit and loss statement, right?
Right.
And it's just simply saying, for the month of July, you're on track, or you will make, let's say, $5,000,
Right.
right? And you want to make sure that you have it on paper, whether this is pen and pencil or this is in a spreadsheet.
Okay.
That's one. Two, the losses are just how much money you're spending throughout the month. So that's rent, that's groceries, that's gas,
Okay.
that's utilities. I strive to be as specific as possible.
Wow.
And you want to look at your finances at least once or twice a week for at least 30 minutes.
Wow, Randy.
Yeah, like that's
You making me feel kind of bad.
no. I'm just saying, like, it's just a habit.
Yeah.
That is all it is. It's just a routine. And I know that every Wednesday, every Sunday, I need to look over my finances,
Okay.
over our finances.
Okay.
Period. It's a non-negotiable. Like it has to happen. If it doesn't happen on Wednesday, it's gonna happen on Thursday, and it's gonna happen again on Sunday.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
have to look over my finances.
Okay. Then let me ask you this
Mhm.
now. So with structure like that, so even if you are someone who has never planned before financially, if you're starting out at 50 years old right now,
Mhm.
the first thing you need to start out with when you sit down by yourself or with your significant other,
That uh, you have to really just decide how much money it is that you're making, and usually if it's a W-2 or it's business, just at least like relative projections. You just want to make sure that you have it somewhere, and it starts as soon as you decide. It does. It doesn't. You don't have to wait. Say I'm gonna start next month. It's like no. Just simply pull out a piece of paper and say this month my gross income will be X. That's all you have to do.
yeah,
Then you look over your bank statements because let's not overcomplicate this, guys. You can either just print off your bank statements
okay,
and say, and just line item and mark it that this is what I spent for transportation. This
Yeah.
is what I spent in my housing for mortgage or rent. This is what I spent for groceries. You just want to make sure you have it itemized. And then you just subtract the difference.
and look at the things, Randy, and I'm speaking for myself.
Mhm.
And Donna has a family. I'm speaking for myself. This is where it's easy to fall off track.
It is.
Driving through Jack in the Box.
It is.
And because it's gonna be, even if you try to go cheap with the kids meal,
Mhm.
it's gonna be $7. By the
I
time
mean,
you
growing up.
by the time you the large tea with it. Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you do that every day for breakfast and for lunch, that your check is
It's
gone.
gone. And I agree.
So what you would say, what you would recommend people?
I'm in agreement.
I'm speaking of our experience.
I
Okay.
believe you. It's
So
serious.
what you would recommend is that when people are really trying to get a hold of their finances,
There it is.
they have a real look in the mirror and talk with themselves
That's it.
and
That's
maybe
all.
start making your lunch.
That's
Or
it.
prepping that
Prepping
meals
your meal.
on,
Like, and honestly too, like, start as soon, like today, to right now, like you just pull out a piece of paper and say that this month I think I'm gonna make X amount of dollars. And the more clarity
Right.
that you have around your numbers, I promise you, at first, it will be hard. Like it will be difficult because if
Okay.
you're not normalizing this behavior,
right.
you have to expose yourself to it. Yet what happens is you realize that over time you become more comfortable with it and you feel better emotionally and internally because you know that, hey, I'm not where I want to be. Yet I know that, okay, for the month, maybe I just need 300 more dollars to be
Yes,
profitable.
yes.
But you
yes.
don't know if you're not looking over your finances.
Okay.
And to your point about the Jack in the Box, I'm gonna tell you,
Randy.
my mom,
Yeah.
there was always food at home.
That's
There
right.
was there was
That's
there
right.
was never a point in time. It didn't even matter if we were going to eat oatmeal, whatever the case is.
That's
there
right.
was food at home.
Yes.
Simply because we knew eating out's expensive. Or
That's
even if
right.
even if I want to eat out now, like today, I'll say, hey, babe,
You
let's
plan-
let's go to HEB.
Yeah.
But let's go to the store so we
Yeah.
can buy the $3-4 of ice cream instead
Yeah.
of going to
Yeah.
Jack in the Box or McDonald's where
And
it's
then
gonna cost.
special when you go out.
Three
There
to
you
four
go.
dollars.
You make,
Like,
make it say, let's go out twice a month. And that's a real treat.
that's
for you.
it. Or like we go, or
Yeah.
we say, or honestly too, if you have to, let's say for example, you got some unplanned expenses because
Mhm.
life happens.
Right.
This we have to be very honest with ourselves when we think about money.
Yeah.
Life happens, and also don't impulsively go out and buy something that you said, I'm gonna put on the credit card because I did this.
Yes.
We said in 2023
Yes.
when everyone was talking about business credit cards, I was like, you know what I need? I got some decent credit. Let me look to get the business credit cards.
Oh wow.
And it's great at first,
Yeah.
0% APR. But if you do not pay, I'm telling you right now, don't go do something you don't have to go and do, right? When you don't pay off those credit cards in time, promise you 24% interest rate.
And Randy, let me tell you, you and I were talking about this before Donna got here.
Mhm.
And I've always been this way.
Mhm.
And I will always be this way. As far as credit card debt, close, and things like that on credit cards, I just don't do it.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, I have a friend
Mhm.
who is, and bless her heart, she's like a niece to me. But you can tell that she's never really had to budget anything. And she is where she does not have a laptop right now. And here's the thing, the first thing that will come to mind to me is thinking about the specifications I need in a laptop. Okay.
Mhm.
I need to be this speed, I needed to have this much RAM, I needed to have this big of a hard drive for the kinds of things I want to do. The first place I'm going to go is Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go to Best Buy or Micro Center and put down $1,100 on a laptop. Because if I'm trying to go from point A to point B, I am going to walk myself there. I don't have to jump across the ocean to get to point B because I don't want to make a bill for it.
Exactly.
I may pay $150, $200 for that laptop, go get a $25 printer, which I did, and I have everything I need in order to communicate and do the things that I need to do
Exactly.
electronically and digitally, and I haven't made a bill. But I'm not speaking down against anyone, but so many times we haven't had the opportunity to think outside of that box in the different ways you can make something happen. And it's funny because when I share information, she's been around me so long now that she said, okay, Crystal, I'm gonna call you first because I know you're gonna know how to figure this out without having to break the bank. I said, I'm gonna come on the back door
It's
first.
budget friendly. It's budget
Yes.
friendly. And also
And you can always graduate.
that's
to
to
that.
that. That's
Yeah.
that mentality. That mentality right there
Yeah.
is life changing.
Yeah.
If we start with that mentality and say, you know what, right now I'm not where I want to be.
Right.
However, let me start with where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Purchase this product. And
Yes.
then a couple months from now, then you purchase what you can afford
Right.
comfortably.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard, like
Yeah.
having to put something off
Yeah.
until you have the money for it. But I promise you that when you purchase it, finally, you're like, you know what? I thank myself for not making a decision or a purchase I really
That was impulsive. Yeah.
You'll thank yourself. And then also, I want to commend you. And you like having these conversations is a part of how we reshape and rewire our mind
Yeah.
to start thinking about money differently.
Right.
It just starts with stuff like this, and then you're like, wow, okay, now because I have less debt, okay, now I have some more money in saving. Okay, now then you start talking about investing,
Right.
right? But you have to start wherever you're at. Just get real and get right.
Yeah.
Let me interject here because I'm like, here we're kind of preaching to the choir, right? Crystal and I, perhaps her viewers, whatever. You asked earlier, why are we into politics and policy, and, things government.
And why it matters. Yeah.
And why it matters, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it matters because I want to be a servant to all people or whatever, and in particularly our people.
Yeah.
So I never want to get that twisted. And so we're talking about some of these habits or whatever.
Mhm.
And I'm like, again, I preface it with preaching to the choir. How can we get this information out to those that really need it? So maybe those who don't have people to look up to or whatever, or those who are looking on TV and
Right.
hearing rap songs and like, oh, I got this money,
Yeah.
but it doesn't come without a cost. I was just also thinking about, let's say Beyonce, we're right here next to the homes. And I'm like, those people really do a lot of work. Or Cardi B, I was thinking about Cardi B at the Essence Festival or whatever. And it's like, yeah, you see the, whatever they're doing and the money and the clothes, whatever. But, they're performing, they're on
Right.
tours, like every day for, I don't know.
Right.
Maybe 6 months or something like that. They're actually putting in the work.
Right.
So anyway, again, like you were saying, it's not just.
And they
It's not by
come
accident.
out,
Yeah, it's not by accident.
Yeah,
It's
and
not by
it could be
accident.
years
There's
and years
sacrifices.
before they come.
There's sacrifices that they made.
So I guess I'm
Years.
always like, how do we get to the people in the hood or whatever that really need to hear this? Because that's where a lot of the money is going out of our community, right? And how do we make an impact with them? A lot of this stuff I'm sure that you're going to be talking about. It's been going on for we got a generation.
And that's the thing.
250
Yes.
years start almost, if not more.
Yeah.
On legal matters and money matters.
Right.
All of this stuff is set up so that capitalism, right? So that people can get richer, and there's gonna always be somebody that's not gonna be as rich.
Yeah. Right.
The poor get poor, the rich get richer, and poor get poor.
Right.
So how do we get this information out to young
The
people?
masses.
Yeah, we need to hear it.
It's a great question. That's a great question. I think that it starts with education. I'll be honest with you. I really do think that it starts with education. And the reason why I say this is because the things that we are exposed to is what then begins to shape our mindset around money. And so if it's like
Yes.
I go online and it looks trendier for me to become an athlete or a rapper, right?
Yeah.
But in that, if I consume enough information that's said, hey, they look just like me and they made it out of, say, the hood because they became an athlete or became an artist, then maybe I need to do that as well. Yet it's similar to how when we have John Hope Bryant talks about businesses or entrepreneurship or investing, because that is still a route for us to be able to make a lot of money, take care of our family, build generational wealth. Yet it's a different avenue than rapping or becoming an athlete. And it's not to say that those are not great professions. It's just to say that if we look and think about life more systematically,
Yeah.
we can focus on, hey, if I just invest $200 per month for the next 10 to 15 years, I'll have X amount of dollars after the next 2 decades, right?
Right.
It's that may be more feasible than say, I'm going to become a D1 athlete out of my large or small town, and I'm going to be known for this thing. Because you got to also think, you're not the only one
Right.
that's looking
You're
to
one in a
compete.
million.
One of the millions on a roster that's maybe a
Yes.
couple dozen. That's
Yes,
those odds. Me personally, I don't like those odds.
that's right.
I just
That's
I
right.
do not like those odds.
Yeah.
That's the one I would say is education. I would
Yeah.
say next is the. It honestly does start with the older generation.
Yeah.
So the older generation is not having conversations like this. The issue is then how does it trickle down
Mhm.
for the next generation to say pick up the baton or do or become better.
Mhm.
So it's twofold in sense of education, and then our elders have to talk about it in such a way that's inspiring to say that, hey, like, I may not have done, I've done certain things within my life that I didn't like, yet I learned this lesson, like, and just expose the children to it.
Mhm.
So, like, if you're going to the bank,
Yeah.
like my mom used to take me to the bank. I didn't know what was going on. I just
Yeah.
knew that Chase Bank had lollipops.
Yeah.
But I knew that was like,
Yeah.
so when I saw, and she'd get a dollar bill, and I'd be like, this dollar bill's crisp. Otherwise, it's so
Yeah.
crisp. Just touching the money.
Right.
People acting like, touch 20, touch $100
Yes.
bill and say, here, when we look at money, think of, and also this is well, we can get into tactical tips in a little bit. But yeah, I think it starts with education, and it starts with the older generations feeding or pouring into the younger generation so that they can continue the cycle or break the cycle.
Mhm.
And Randy, I'm gonna go directly to before we jump over to what we as a community can start doing in terms of real property and real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Before we jump over there,
Mhm.
I'm going to go to the three things
Okay.
that we talked about first. Now, this is what I put in the teaser, and this is what some teachers this is what some teachers asked me to ask Randy when he came on here, because how do they always say I'm asking for a friend? But truly, I'm asking for a friend this time, but I've been in this situation before.
Yeah.
I have something that came up, and I'm gonna have to have an additional $500 by next week. What can I do today
Mhm.
to make sure that I can earn $500 for this bill by next week?
That is the question.
Clock is ticking, Randy.
Clock is
Give me
ticking.
three things
I'm
I
gonna
can do.
give you three things. I'm gonna give you three things.
And some of them I may have done. I don't
Now,
know.
look, all
Yeah.
I'm saying is you gotta just
Be realistic. Yeah.
first of all, you gotta get real and get right. That's
Yeah.
something that we teach within Keller Williams frameworks of just money and thinking and building wealth in general. You have to
Step
get
out of
real.
your pride.
That's what I'm saying. You have to get real, get right with where you're at with your finances and say, how did I even end up in this situation in the first place?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we want to think about getting to the solution to get to the money, but it's like that same thing can happen again next month if you don't actually reflect on why you're in the situation in the
Right.
first place.
Right.
That to me is honorable mention, let's say.
Yes.
So the first thing I would do is Uber, Lyft.
And-
Like
yeah.
it might take you 24 to maybe 48 hours to get your car registered
They get approved.
and get approved.
Really.
Then once you get approved, you got to think about the different type of rides you're going to do, and
What's the learning curve there, Randy?
you're already driving. You just have to have your driver's license and you have
And
to uphold
insurance.
and insurance.
And they tell you where you go, where you turn and everything.
I mean, they give you a
I don't
GPS. They
know.
give you a G. You're right.
Okay,
That's
you
you're
just
right.
follow the
If you don't know anything
Wow.
about Uber or Lyft, that's
Yeah.
perfectly fine. Just download the app. You say Uber driver, I believe.
And how old do you have to be?
18. I think
18?
18 for Uber, and I think it's 25 for Lyft.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and fact check me, please. Yet these are things that you're able to do and make the money immediately. We're talking about, look, I only have 168 hours. You only got
Yes.
1 week.
Yes.
That's okay. Uber, definitely one of them.
Really?
Me personally, I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done it. That I had rent due the next day.
Yeah.
I said I need $100.
Yes.
I drove for about 4.5 hours.
And you had your money.
I had my money.
Wow. And
But I was, yeah, but
and
I was-
how did they pay you?
that is direct deposit to your bank account. It's fast.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, just like Cash App. So
Okay.
that's one thing. So let's not let's
Uber Lyft. That's good.
that's
Yeah.
one. The next is Facebook Marketplace. I had someone within my community.
Yes.
They said that you know what, I'm at home all the time. Let me look at some of
I've
these
done
items.
Facebook Marketplace.
Let me look at
Yes.
some of these items that I'm not even using anymore, right? They
Yes.
said just put it on Facebook Marketplace, make a decent listing for it. Now we have all these AI channels.
Yes.
Go on ChatGPT, go on Claude, and say,
Right.
hey, can you make me an attractive listing for this
Yeah.
item that I need to sell
There
in
you
my
go.
house that I don't even use? So whether that's clothing, whether that's shoes, whether that's items of value, so it could be
Right.
old electronics, you just want to make sure that, and then make it presentable. Like make it presentable. No,
Yes.
like if you have dust on it, wipe the dust off. So someone actually wants to purchase it.
Let me tell you, Randy, I didn't even know that this was a thing. People buy vintage games, old Monopoly
You don't.
games
It's same thing
with
with
the
eBay.
dog.
Same thing with eBay.
You
People
know,
just list your stuff.
yes,
List your items that you
vintage
have.
things.
Especially if you're older.
Yeah,
There's things that you have that people will may never see the light of day again because it's
Yes.
out. It's not. They're not even
Yeah.
producing it anymore.
that's right.
So it is
People pay
vintage.
good money.
They'll pay good money. Make sure it's cash.
Yes.
So you don't get scammed out here. So don't say nobody told you.
If you meet somebody in public
Meet
place.
somebody in public place. Make sure it has lighting.
Mhm.
Possibly bring a friend so you know you're being safe. Right?
Yeah.
So that's two ways. That's two ways
That's
for
good.
sure that you can get the cash. Because I bought
Yes.
things.
I buy things off of Facebook Marketplace all the time. Yeah.
So and it works. Right? And then lastly, if you're saying that you need money
You strapped.
and you're strapped, honestly, I'm gonna give you two more because there's a fourth one that just came to mind. The third one is that you have to look at places that may need somebody to come and support so they can give you money the same day. So service related, something service related,
Okay.
service industry, somewhere that I don't want to say nothing, of course, under the table, but you want to do things that maybe are already within your wheelhouse that you just haven't been packaging correctly.
Right.
So think about things that either you're doing it as a trade or
Right.
somewhere that you may have a friend or someone in the community that may need a little help and they say we're giving out X amount of dollars for someone helping or supporting for this day. Service based, you can cut grass, right? You just wash cars.
And I know people who have done this. They just drive. They have, and these are teens. Okay, who they just got in the car.
Mhm.
They have a lawnmower. They have an edger. They have a weed eater. Okay,
Yeah.
they bought them off of Facebook Marketplace.
Mm.
And all they do is this: they'll drive through the neighborhood and look at the grass and go up to the door
Mhm.
of the people whose grass is not cut,
Mhm.
and they gonna undercut everybody else. They'll say, "I'll do your yard for $20."
$20. You do 5 yards.
And they do 5 yards.
You got
That's what I'm saying.
That's $100. Like, and
Yes.
even if you're working a job, let's please not make any excuses. We know the sun in Houston doesn't go down till 8:30, 8:30, sometimes 9 o'clock. So that means if you work a job for like 4 or 5, tell your boss, hey, I have to leave early. I got bills to pay.
Yeah,
Or if it's on a one weekend, you may have to make $250 one day, make $250 another day.
yeah.
Right? So that's three. And then the fourth one that I just thought about is that honestly, this is why when we think about money, it's not always about the $100 bill, the $1,000.
Mhm.
It's about the relationships because honestly, please, I hope to God there's people in my phone that I can reach out to say, hey man, I'm really strapped for cash right now. Can you give me $300? Can you give me $300? I'll pay you back in about 2 weeks.
And do you give them a little interest?
You can. I mean, it depends on the friend, but I would hope, this is why money is so important. I hope somebody can give me a grant for a couple, it's just a grant. I just need a little help,
I'll pay you back.
I'll pay you back. Because of the relationship, just know that this is why your name is so important. We're talking about money.
Right.
Also understand that your character is everything.
That's right.
So don't lose your character over any type of money.
Right, please.
So, Randy, basically what you're saying is that there are ways to do it if you need to do
You
it.
need to do it.
If you are someone like a teacher, you can put an ad up immediately. If you teach any grade
There you
level,
go. That was
you
good.
can
Tutoring.
tutor. You can say, I will
Private
tutor your,
tutoring.
I will tutor your student for
Use
if
that
everybody
teacher's
else
license.
if everybody else is charging $25 an hour, and you know you need that money immediately, I'll tutor your student starting today for $20 an hour. And if I'll do 2 students at a time or 1 student at a time. Bring your student and let them bring their classmate. I'll give you all a cut for both of them.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Tutor those students. But there are things that are within your wheelhouse that can make you money.
That can make you money.
And when you were in here before we started and you said this, you said, there are a lot of things you can do, but you have to step out of your own way.
Yeah.
And so many times we stand in our own way. Let me tell you, pride is a killer. Pride can kill you. If your pride will not allow you to step out of your own way to do what you need to do, and whenever you have to step out of your pride to do something, that's a character builder. That's a character builder.
And also, another thing to add to that too is that, for me, I can only speak for me. Faith has been a very important part of of any monetary
Yeah.
success, any relationship success I've had
Mhm.
is because of God. Like
That's right.
when it was so funny, like I was praying for wisdom.
Yeah.
I was praying for wisdom. I was praying for wealth and abundance. And a couple months later, I was given my wife. Like it wasn't. I was asking for. You know, I was asking.
Monetary,
I
yeah.
thought it was gonna be money. I thought it was gonna be a
Yes.
direct deposit. It was actually. And it was actually. It was actually
A real direct, a real direct deposit. Okay, you're right.
Oh, literally. And that's another thing too when we think about money, just more like because what I want us to understand today
Yeah.
is you need practical systems, you need practical models, you need practical frameworks to follow around money. We're not don't do not continue to look at money haphazardly. Look at it as a way that I am in control of this tool. Money is only a tool. So if anyone around you says that money is evil, money is bad, tell them,
Mhm.
look, if that's your belief, so be it. Yet I cannot identify with that. I
Right.
cannot.
Right.
I cannot. The life that I'm struggling to live does not require me to live a life that says that money is bad.
That's right.
When having money, having access to capital is one of the reasons how businesses are able to start, how grants are able to be given. So you have to think about money as a
And how
from a
you're able
lens
to
of
pour into other people.
that's it.
Yeah.
How you're able
Yeah.
to give. When you're able to give and say, hey, I know that you are not able to pay me back. Yet I'm able to help you with this and no problem. No
Okay.
problem.
Okay, Randy. I remember about, I'm gonna say 7 or 8 years ago, at midnight, all of these infomercials would come on. Okay, everybody know when I say it, everybody's gonna know what I'm talking about. These infomercials would come on with these guys who said I was living in my in-laws garage for 5 years. And then I started investing in properties that I was able to get for $1 or whatever. And it was this fantastic story about how they jumped into real estate with nothing. Well, I'm not gonna say that that did not happen, but there are steps that are aligned to get to that point. But let me say this. I sometimes when I'm driving down the street, even in Houston, in areas that may be considered blighted areas, and you see these buildings that are just about falling down, and they're sitting there, and I'm wondering. I would love to be able to get my hands on, even if it's a little duplex or something. Put in the sweat equity. I can do some things. I can paint. I can help put in windows. Myself to try to start investing in some real estate. My sister and I, have taught my niece how to help us do certain things
Yeah.
that are handy. Are there still opportunities and things like that? And how good does your credit have to be, or do you need to be able to have cash on hand for that? Or are people still able to come into deals sometimes that will allow them to get certain things to flip or to rent or to hold in this day and time? Are those things that are things of the past?
Mm. Well, it is not a thing of the past. To
Mhm.
be honest with you, there are still there's still opportunities within this market. I think a lot of it has to do with information
Okay.
and just putting in, as you said, the sweat equity.
Okay.
Now, this is something that I like to teach, I like to focus on is that there's four things that you need to understand when you're thinking about getting a loan of any type, especially when you're thinking about purchasing real estate.
Okay.
You have assets, you have income, you have credit, and then you have debt.
Okay.
As long as you understand those four concepts successfully and just consistently, really, because success is subjective, right?
Right.
Success is subjective. Yet, when you understand these four topics, you put yourself in the best position to get financing. When you think about credit, a 620 and up, 620 and up.
And that's not unrealistic.
It's not.
No.
It's not. No.
No.
You just have
Yeah.
to look at your credit report and just say that what are things that may be delinquent. And this is why we talked about representation is important. That if you're not able to get these things off of your credit report, then find a professional who can.
Right.
Find an organization that has backed up reviews of saying, "Hey, I helped this person get their credit score from XYZ to XYZ." Also, sometimes people don't know, and this is what sometimes frustrates me with a lot of stuff we see online. Some people don't understand that, like, by you going through the process of purchasing a home, more than likely your credit score will improve. Because even if you go to the lender and say, well, I did the hard application, I did the hard inquiry for the application,
Mhm.
and they come back and tell you, hey, your credit score is about 560.
Right.
It's about 560. It's not where it needs to be for you to be able to purchase. Some people
Right.
can say, oh my gosh, the deal is dead, I can't buy a house. Or, right,
Mm-hmm.
you say, okay, I understand my credit score is at 560. Hey, lender, tell me what I need to do to get my
Right.
credit score to a place where I can purchase.
Right.
And then more than likely, the lender and your real estate agent are incentivized to help you get
Exactly.
to the closing table.
Exactly.
That's it. So don't overcomplicate this. And we say income, just make sure it's consistent income that's verifiable, right? And we say debt, you want your DTI 30-35% is
That's the
awesome.
income.
Yeah, debt to income
Okay.
ratio.
Mhm.
Debt to income ratio, which is why you have to know your P&L or at least
Mhm.
know your numbers.
Right,
So
right, right.
it's all interconnected. Don't think that it's it's different. And then lastly, we talk about assets, right? So
Okay.
this is things that can be sold for value. So you talk about stocks, you talk about things that are documented too. So you have stocks, you have dividends, you have T-bills, just things that can be ETFs, even rental income, wherever it's coming from. You just want to make sure it's documented and you can say that, hey, this is consistent money that I have coming
Okay. Now, Randy, let me ask you this.
in.
For someone like me, I own my house
Mhm.
and it's accrued in value over the last 7 years, 6 years, 7 years. It's not a whole bunch of, it's not a whole bunch of growth, but it may be $60,000 to $70,000 in growth. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
but it hasn't doubled like a lot of people's houses.
It doesn't matter.
But it has
See,
not doubled.
we gotta be focused on
That's all right. That's
our own financial profile. That's what we
That's
gotta
right.
focus on.
But
Yeah.
I am, I'm thinking that I don't want to be in the classroom I really don't want to be in the classroom for another 5 years. I will if I have to. I'm not averse to it, but if I can do something to supplement myself so that I can go ahead and begin doing the things that I want to do. I would like to start maybe investing in some small pieces of real estate, maybe a townhouse here or something like that. Is it feasible? Or would you even recommend going outside of a market like Houston and going to a market that maybe in a smaller place, a Beaumont or something like that, because the real estate may be cheaper there to get and lenders may be more amenable to
Yeah.
lending.
Yeah.
Is that what are your thoughts?
So my first initial thought is that it's important. This is why it's so important to know your numbers, because you have to know how much money you actually need on a monthly basis to support your lifestyle.
Sustain. Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
that's the reason why I'm saying this is because if we go straight to this is how you can make more money or have,
Mhm.
residual income, but we're not talking about you don't know your numbers.
Mhm.
You don't even know how much money you need to set
Yeah.
aside, right? So first is that you need to know your numbers, how much money you need on a monthly basis to take care of yourself and your livelihood. The next thing that you need to do is that you want to invest. I honestly think after learning and reading and writing,
Mhm.
we can learn from people who have been here before us. Warren Buffett. You want to invest into
Right.
things that you have the most competency around.
Mhm.
Your primary residence is awesome because, as you said, it accrued in value, so your net worth has gone up. Period.
Yeah.
And also, you want to invest in things that you understand or have come to learn, because then, whenever the market shifts, you're okay with it
Yeah.
because you know how you can
Sustain it.
how you
Yes.
can sustain it.
Yeah.
So sometimes that's what I would say. But if for us to say that, hey, for the sake of the example, if you want to go invest into more real estate, you want to think about it from a lens of you don't want to be over leveraged. So that idea of going to
Okay.
Beaumont,
Okay.
or going to say possibly Montgomery County, just
Right.
places that have value that you've seen, or places where people are moving to, where there's development.
Okay.
You want to first put yourself in that so that you can ride the wave. Yeah, you want to pay attention to what your percentage of the returns will be. So let's say, for example, if you purchase let's say condo or a townhouse, that's let's
Yeah.
say $200,000,
Yeah.
right? But because you put down 20%, your monthly payment will not be that high. 20% of
Right.
your down payment, right?
Right.
won't be that high. Now the thing is though, you need to do your research and due diligence on what that area is renting for.
Okay.
So that then you know, okay, my monthly payment is maybe let's say $1,200.
Mhm.
I can rent it for $1,500 on my cash flow, maybe $200 every single month.
Mhm.
Randy, what happened to this?
To what? To real estate being $70?
What happened to when people would say every second Tuesday, they would go down on the steps of the courthouse, the steps of the courthouse.
No tax liens. I mean, I've sat in the classes, and I went with one of my bros. It's still there. It's not a hoax. So it's not a hoax. It's not a hoax. However,
But you still get those kind of deals these
I
days.
don't know about $1 though. Some people, it's not said that you can't. It just depends on the connections that you have, or of course,
You
the
gotta be
deals.
connected.
You always have to be
So
connected
it's
because
not
understand
just the
that
highest bidder.
the people, yes, but the highest bidder they have money, they have capital. The people, and you go. You said on second Tuesday, right? Early in the bright.
That's what it used to be.
No, it's
Yeah.
still there. No. It is still happening. It is still going on.
And they used to have it literally
Well,
on
look at it.
the steps of
It's
the
not,
courthouse.
well, the court. It's nice. I think it's in Rochelle or it's in Rosenberg.
Somewhere,
The one that we
yeah.
have in Texas,
Yeah.
or Houston. It's
Yeah.
either way. I'll tell you this though. I'll tell you this though.
I've never been to one.
When you go to one, and notice this. This is why it's important to think about. You like literally look at these things systematically.
Uh-huh.
When the courthouse is open, from
Yeah.
I think it's like 8 to 4 p.m.
Right.
Who is work? If you have a W-2, think about your timeline of when you're working. That 9 to 5.
Yeah.
You don't even have. You can't even
Access.
go.
That's right. That's
You
right.
can't even go.
You can't
So
go.
it's
Yeah.
not to say that you can't go. Of course, you can have somebody go with you or go for you. Yeah.
Right.
Here's the thing that I want everyone to understand about this. On
Mhm.
that second Tuesday, when you go down to the county,
Mm-hmm.
people have money. So the people that are going there, they're bidding, but we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars. So it's not said that, but you also consider.
And they can leisurely go down there because they don't have to work at
They don't have
jobs
to
too.
work.
Yeah.
But here's the thing too, that's only one avenue when we think about real estate. And we have to get out of this just tax liens, just the townhouse, just the single family.
What are the other avenues, Randy? That's what we want to know.
It's partnership. It is about partnership. And there is, as you mentioned, is development. You can do that as well. Yet that requires information, that requires education.
So that's what I was also mentioning, because you don't get educated on the properties
Mhm.
before you go down.
Exactly.
It's
And that's-
always recommended.
Yes,
That's true.
yes,
So you have
yes.
like at least a month to
Yes.
say, okay.
To study up on it.
Study up on it, pull your money together and all that kind of stuff like that. So I think it's still a good, a way of
Mhm.
getting properties if you
Yeah.
want and can.
Yeah.
Sweat.
Equity into it, yes.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
definitely a route. I mean, there's also, so that's one is tax liens. You also have short sales. You also have foreclosures.
Yes.
You also have the auction, right? So those are like 4 different ways that you can still get property at a discount. What I'm saying is though, like you're saying, when we talk about studying the market, you need to understand what's happening within that zip code.
Okay.
At least within a couple mile radius of where you're purchasing the house at.
Right.
Because if you don't understand the market and you say, oh, I got this at a discount, yes, you might have got that house at a discount, yet if no one's moving over there or you're not able to flip it after you put in X amount of money into it,
Right.
that's tough. And sometimes too, you gotta like it. This is why I'm saying you have to invest in what you understand, because just because you purchase the property,
Mm-hmm.
do you have the money afloat to just keep on either paying on that property
In case
or
it doesn't do, in case the market changes.
exactly in case the market changes. So you have to. This is why education is so important. I keep going back to this because the more that I read,
Uh-huh.
the more that I sat in rooms where people were wealthier and smarter than me. I was like, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Yet you cannot downplay the fact that it didn't take time to study. So whether
Right.
it's trading, whether it's real estate, whether it's starting your own business, assess what it is that you understand and feel the most comfortable with, and then make a decision to go all in. A lot of times we see on the internet people talk about how rich and how wealthy they are, yet I start asking them questions of how long have you done this for?
Right. Right.
Not like
Right.
and for some people, yes, they get rich, they get wealthy overnight. Yet, how long did it take for them to get there? How much money was invested before they got to that point where their livelihood is taken care of
Yeah.
for their business or their investment?
So Randy,
Mhm.
I told you I was going to ask you this.
Okay.
Now, the next question that I'm going to ask you
Mhm.
is this.
Mhm.
Do you offer seminars or classes
I do.
that people
do.
can come to
Yes.
on a weekend
Mhm.
or on, a couple of nights a week to learn some of these tools.
Yes, I do. I am a.
And you're gonna send me that information.
I will.
Okay,
I
yeah.
will. So I am a KW Next Gen instructor, which KW Next Gen is this nonprofit organization
Uh-huh.
that specializes in helping 18 to 29-year-olds get information, coaching, and scholarships.
Okay.
So that's, and now I get, I say 18 to 29, but that doesn't mean that you can't sit in my wealth building basics class, right? The only thing that we ask is just donations, just so we can keep on offering scholarships to young adults, and I'm a
Okay.
recipient of it. And I'm saying this because I've taught the wealth building basics class a couple of times, and so now I continue to
Right.
start sending them to you
Okay.
so that more people can be tapped, like I would say tapped in, so more people can learn about this stuff because it's not rocket science. Yeah, if you don't start with the basics, it's very hard to start investing. It doesn't even make sense if you're not able to take care of your everyday livelihood. It's very hard to start thinking about investing. But if you're young, and you're 18 to 29, and you don't have as much overhead as
That's
someone,
right.
someone in the
That's
mid 20s
right.
or 30s has, then you're able
You don't
to
have the
invest
baggage.
early.
That's right.
Right? And baggage is not always negative, right? We need to understand this. Baggage might look like family, yet it also can look like the decisions that we made in the past that
Yeah.
are still holding us
Good
to it.
decisions. That's right.
Yeah. So good decisions, bad decisions, like and baggage can also be emotional. A lot of people
Yeah.
spend money emotionally. It's just these are just things that like
And you help break these cycles. You
I
give
help
people the tools.
Yes,
Yes.
that's right. I give you because
Yep.
if I sit here and tell you I help break your generational cycles, you're gonna come back. You're gonna come back and say,
My money, man.
you're gonna say, Randy, you didn't bring my generational. It's like I said I'd help you. I gave you the toolbox, and
Yeah.
as long as you continue to dig within the toolbox, I promise you will change your life.
Absolutely.
But you have to start with the foundations.
Now Donna has a son,
Right.
and he is 16 now, 15.
So two sons, we're talking about
Yeah, the youngest one that I know.
The earlier the better.
15, 16.
16.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. How young? I mean, is there an age that's too young? And do you have seminars that you market to that younger age group so that even before they graduate high school, they can start making sound financial decisions?
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I really don't market to people that are younger than 18 unless they're joining the military.
Okay.
Yeah. I can help for sure. It's just a matter if you or someone in your community said, "Hey, can you put together a seminar or workshop?"
Right.
I'd be happy to. Like,
Yeah,
period.
Right.
Period. Like, we can make it happen. 16 to 18-year-olds, if you want.
No age.
It's no age because it's money. It's
Yeah.
money. It's not like
It's
not. Yeah, it's just
about-
legit. That's it. It's just how can we make kids more valuable so that then when they are in the similar position as us, they can make better decisions to choose.
Right.
So I won't say better opportunities because that's not what it's about. It's
Yeah.
about how they utilize the skills that they've developed earlier within their life.
Right.
That's really it. It's harder because it's hard to make more money if you haven't developed certain skills that allow you to make more money. It's not to say that you're not valuable. It's to say that you have to develop and cultivate the skills you already have so that people are willing to pay you more. That's
And see, I'm not putting Donna on blast, but because I've met her son, it's not often that you come across young people who are in their mid-teens
yeah.
who are very cognizant of making good decisions,
Yeah.
who are thinking about things on a level of doing things to help their peers. And yeah, and he's an Eagle Scout. That in itself says that he's thinking on the next level.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and not caring what anybody else thinks about him.
Yeah.
Okay, but I think it would be great to set up, and it may be something that we do with the organization that Donna and I are getting ready to embark upon,
Yeah.
but where we can set up some type of financial literacy course
I'd be
maybe
happy.
next summer
I'd be
Yeah.
happy to be a
for teenagers, people who are to kind of show them, when you make money cutting yards, or when you make money helping people do ads for their social media and that kind of thing, how can you as a teen invest that money and start doing some things?
I'd be happy for us to be able to talk about that so that next generation gets
Yeah.
inspired, to create, to learn, to earn more, to invest. Yeah.
Tell us before you go
This-
about your
this-
book.
this-
Donna has a question real
I
quick.
did have a
Yes,
question
yes,
before you
yes.
get to that, because I want you to
Yeah.
focus all the way
Yes.
on. But you mentioned about being in the service.
Mhm.
So, many people, don't take advantage of those benefits that come along with being in the service. Yeah, my oldest son, he's in the Navy.
Okay.
And, I didn't even know the Navy, and then he's switching over to the Air Force. But
Okay.
the long and short of it is that, I was like, hey, he was saying that we get those benefits, right? And so he was like, oh, I already qualified,
Yeah.
year 3 or whatever it
Mhm.
is. If he gets out in year 4, he'll have those veteran benefits. And so I'm saying that because, you have the GI Bill for
Mhm.
children. For their children, they have, lower interest rates.
Yes.
They're
Like
competitive, yeah.
really low
Low-
interest rates.
And low down payments for
Yeah,
houses.
no down payment for
Yeah,
houses.
you tell
Yeah.
us.
So the thing is with the military is that you have to of course serve honorably, yet I'll tell you this. The military by far is one of the greatest ways that young adults can set themselves up. I
Wow.
think I
Yeah.
think that sometimes it does get a bad light on it. Yet I
Mhm.
promise you, like if you go into the service and say, I'm going to give it my absolute all
Mhm.
for 3 to 6 years,
Use it as a tool.
and you
That's
come out and
right.
you come out, I can say with certainty, because I have served, I have made money with it
Right.
from the civilian sector,
Yeah.
and I've also been able to position myself to where uh, the it's almost like I don't want to say the opportunities are endless because
The
that's
skills.
but the skill set,
Resume.
your resume, the characteristics, the person that you become because you serve is life changing.
And Randy, the thing about it is, let's be clear. When you walk in and you present yourself like you do, and the next thing that you say is that you're a veteran, you got to, people
Because
open,
not a lot of people have served.
open the
It
doors.
just is what it is.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have served. Not because for some people it's that because they couldn't. For some people it just wasn't on their radar. It just wasn't on their radar.
If
So,
I had it to do over again, and I tell people this all the time, if I had it to do over again, I would, as soon as I would have done ROTC in college,
mm,
and as soon as I got out, I would have gone into
to become
the military. Yeah, probably the Marine Corps
Yeah.
or the Air Force. Yeah, yeah.
Power to you. I see. Yeah, no,
Because I can recognize now that that is an aspect, and Donna knows what I mean by this. The discipline that's built
it's
is you cannot pay for the discipline that that particular service aspect gives young people.
it's drilled into you.
And it never
I mean,
leaves.
Even when I was in basic training, it's not to say I didn't see people like in their 30s
Right.
leveraging joining. So
Really?
like
I didn't
it's
know that.
you can get a waiver, either a waiver or I think it's like 36 years old right now or 38.
Yeah.
They might have increased it to 40. It just depends. And then you got to think too. Some people are getting bonuses to join. So imagine joining and then they give you
Wow.
$10,000,
Yeah.
$20,000
Right.
in addition to your contract.
It's like, just think about, all the people that we know who
Right.
served in the military, and even if they've served past the 6 year, they're retired, that's life changing.
It is.
Yeah.
For families.
I know
for
people who
generations.
career military they retire after 20 years.
It's
And then
legit.
they-
It's retirement.
They, joined at 20, retire
Like
at 40,
Yeah.
and go, and you still get your retirement check,
Still
Yes.
and you can work somewhere
I
else.
think you can work
I'm
somewhere
like,
else.
it's crazy.
And then, but the thing is like that's
That's
20
true.
years though.
Yeah.
That's 20 years. So, and then that's the thing too. Lastly, for like a practical tip for financial literacy for a framework,
Right.
is that also think that we have to start thinking long term. Like something that I'm learning from all of my mentors is that it's not about just what's going to happen next week, next month. It's
Right.
almost what do I want the next 3 to 5 years to look like?
Yeah.
What are the next 10 years going to look like because of what I'm doing today?
Right.
It's very important for us to begin thinking long term,
Long-term.
and that's 5+ years, easy.
Mhm.
The more that we can think in years, I promise you, the wealthier the community will become.
Gotcha.
I promise you.
Tell us about 2,400
Years
years
of
of service.
So this right here,
That's that title.
yeah, I know, literally. So 2,400 years of service. This book was started when I was in Kuwait, and I was talking to my sergeant, and I said, "Hey, I know that we're here overseas. Yet I'm curious. I want to go interview some people. I want to go interview some different type of service members
Yeah.
because I want them to tell me their story. So everyone who's interviewed within this book,
Uh-huh.
I asked them two questions. I said, what is one piece of advice you would give to a younger soldier?
Right.
And the second question is, what is one piece of advice you would give to a civilian?
Okay.
And so it's all military people. Every
Wow.
single person that I interviewed, and while I
Different
was
perspectives.
with different
Wow.
perspectives, from active duty to infantry to reserve,
Men and women.
men and women. So it's just so many different people, so much to ask. There's a depth of knowledge within this book.
Wow.
I did over 240 interviews while I was boots on ground in Kuwait, and I was
Wow.
there for 9 months. So
Wow.
when I tell you, I was putting in
He's
the work.
talking back.
Yeah, I was talking. I was interviewing. I was literally just being able to
Wow.
interview. So the base commander of Kuwait at the time is in there. She was a woman. She was a woman. She was a woman, and
Yeah.
she meant business.
And your branch was the Army.
And I served in the army. So,
Wow.
and then also too, it's titled 2,400 years of service because there's over 2,400 years of service within this book.
Right.
So
People who have just collectively, that those collective hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Collective years, right? So
Yeah.
that's why I say there's depth of knowledge within this book. And actually this is a gift to you.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, Randy.
Mhm.
With this book, did you come across anyone who said that if they had to do it again, they would not have served?
Yeah, there's some people. There's a few people in there because while we were in the desert, right? So like there's a few people that say, man, I don't know, but it's not a lot. I mean, out of 200 plus people, maybe one or two.
That's awesome.
So it's
That's
that
awesome.
just goes to show you that like
And these are American service members. Yes.
yeah, I think
Did you interview any?
I did Air Force, Army for the most part.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe,
But all American service members.
all
Yeah.
American service.
That's awesome.
Very nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Where
actually,
can people get this?
it's on
Yes.
Amazon. Actually, I think I don't know if I put it in there, but there was a conversation I was able to have with some people from another country. I don't know if I put them in.
Mhm.
It's just the military gives you so much information, so many different perspectives, and I promise you, if you serve, you more than likely will not regret it
Yeah.
as long as you maximize it. So if you're a young adult and you feel lost, you have no clarity, 18, even like 25, and you go serve a couple of years, I promise you get your foot up. You'll get your foot
I'm gonna have you come and talk to my students
I would love to.
one day.
I
I'm
would
gonna have.
love to.
I
Let me know
teach
when.
eighth
School
grade.
year started.
Yes, I teach eighth grade students. A lot of males, and a lot of them, they'll raise their hand when you ask them how many of you know someone in the military or know someone who has served before. But they would love to talk to someone. The military at this point gets a bad rap,
It does.
and it gets a bad rap many times, Randy, depending on what the current administration is.
Yeah.
That doesn't have anything to do with the military, the service members. They've got to serve under whoever it is.
Literally.
And that's right. So, our service members deserve the credit that they should have.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. And where's your son stationed? Is he?
He's in Florida.
He's in Florida.
He's been in, he was over there with Israel and Hamas or whatever.
Wow.
About 2 years ago.
Okay.
And then, he was stationed originally in, Newport, Virginia Beach.
Okay.
It's very nice. They have very-
Okay.
Navy has very nice base.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then he basically trained me with
Yeah.
Chicago, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Randy, if people want to reach out to you, to connect with you, to have you come in and talk to their organization, or be on their podcast and share some of this information that you share with us, what are some of the ways that they can connect with you?
I mean, I'm online. You can type in Randy and Bugay on Google, and you will find me. It's not.
Randy.
No.
You gotta spell it.
So Randy Randy and then Bugay Mbouge. Now and then also my email randyandbugay@kw.com. If you have any questions,
Your social media.
Facebook is Randy and Bugay. TikTok is Facebook and Instagram is Randy and Bugay. TikTok is Military Support Solutions and Randy and Bugay.
Okay.
So like if you look my name up, you will more than likely on YouTube is Randy and Bugay. So I'm on most platforms that people use. You can find me. If you DM me, I more than likely will respond. And I'm really here to be an asset to your organization. I really am here to help the next generation, and I'm just grateful for your
Yes.
time and attention today.
Yeah.
Well, Randy, thank you so much for coming out
Thanks.
and talking to us. We hope we didn't pick your brain too much.
No. I love this stuff. I love this stuff. It's,
Exactly.
yeah, I love it.
But, you know, we're asking for a friend.
Exactly.
Yes, but you know, like I said, a lot of this is information that so many times people don't want to ask. People don't want to admit that they've made mistakes.
Yeah.
People don't want to admit that they had a misstep, but everybody has them. And at any time, we may find ourselves having to pick ourselves up
Yes.
and start again from point A. But here's the good part about it, and I didn't realize this until I had to experience it myself.
Mhm.
It's not as scary when you have to come out of a situation the second time
Mhm.
because you know you can do it.
Yeah.
The first time you feel like the bottom has fallen out. And if you have to, and you never know what may thrust you into a situation that you maybe didn't expect.
Yeah.
But once you have been through it,
Yes.
it doesn't scare you anymore.
Mhm.
And if your credit score drops for a minute, you know that a credit score is something that you can build back up within a year and a half or two. You know,
Well,
it's just not the kind of thing that's frightening anymore. And I think people need to see that it's not the end of the world if you have some missteps, but you can go forward
mhm.
and make sure that you don't, like you said, repeat the certain types of things. You've got to be honest with where those mistakes came in and make sure that you don't make the same mistake 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 times again. Yeah, because at a certain point you may be too old to dig yourself out of it. We don't ever want a situation like that. But Randy, I want to thank you so much for coming out.
So much for having me.
Donna Glover,
Yes.
for Harris County.
But Houston, Harris County.
For
now,
Houston,
so,
Harris County.
you switching it up.
Yes,
Houston, Harris
our,
County.
our native daughter for
That's
Houston, Harris
it.
County.
That's right.
But,
Mwah.
guys,
Y'all.
I know it. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank you.
again.
Thank you.
And we are going to make sure that this is it's live on Facebook and on YouTube right now. But we're going to be sharing this more, and you're going to be seeing a lot of shorts, a lot of clips that come out of this. And as comments come in, we will answer those comments. And if you feel like you need for Randy to come back, you request that, and we're gonna reach out and try to get him back in here
Yes.
to maybe go
Yeah.
more in depth with some of the things
Yeah.
that are done. But I really want to thank him for those immediate things that people can do that everybody is scared to ask that question. Hey, I'm in a bind. I need some money right now. He's given us 4 things
Four things.
that you can actually do.
So
So
it's 5. You did.
Mhm.
To start the tutoring.
oh yeah, I
That's
forgot about
fine.
mine.
That's
Yeah.
fine. That's
Yeah.
fine.
I forgot about mine.
That's fine.
Teachers, you can do that.
You do.
Yes.
Tutoring service. It's an offer you offer on Facebook.
That's right. And sometimes we forget what our value is, you know, as teachers.
You preaching again.
Yeah.
You preaching again.
But my Facebook, YouTube, Crystal Loves Texas family, thank you again. And like we say every week, Donna, we can do it. We'll see you later.
That's it.